Hello everybody. This is Kyusho here, and now, before we begin, let us give a brief little review. In the last part, a number of events have happened. We had Deku, Mina, Bakugo, Kendo, and Kai. These five, they have made their way out to an old abandoned military base, and this place is not what they expected. Kai's ship picked up energy readings coming from this location. The plumbers have not tried to hide them, nor have they tried to investigate them. So, that left it in a bit of a weird spot. They thought that there was DNA alien activity because Melissa's shield and Davy's shield are missing, and these two have yet to pop back up. Now, what they found was quite simply not DNA alien activity, but some sort of strange creature. It began to attack. Along with that, they even encountered a very strange man. A man who can teleport, move fast, and just move at the blink of an eye. And Deku, he was alarmed by this. They all began to ran. And while Mina was building constructs to run on, there was the fact that Deku, he turned into Jet Ray and picked up Kendo and Kai. And Bakugo, he got back to his car. Deku landed Kendo and Kai on the vehicle, and Bakugo was annoyed because the paint might get scratched. Now, that was where we left off. And currently, let's pick up there. Right now, Kendo does gotta bring her hand down. Her sticking to the paint as the vehicle, it does continue to speed up. Kai gonna actually move backwards as Deku, he does hold his hand up. Right now, him grabbing onto Kai, I'm gonna turn. Kendo, bring her hand up and talking about it. Stick to her. Otherwise, she might fall. And Kai does gotta bring her hand down. Grabbing onto it, as Kendo does wrap her arm somewhat up Kai's. Reno her going to do so as it somewhat loop around. And Kai's a little bit more surprised by that. And Reno the vehicle is speeding up. Deku turning his head and grabbing down as he does go to blast out his laser eyes. Now, this thing does continue to follow them. And there currently is Mina, who is flying on a disc, trying to figure out what to do. Her bring her hand down and blasting out this creature. As Bakugo, he has the speed of his car. Right now, him getting up to 70 miles an hour. And this thing is still hot on their trail. Now, Deku, he has a turn, trying to talk about how they need to stay safe. He'll handle this right now, and they need to circle back around when it's clear. He'll distract it. Now, Deku, he's flying up into the air. Him blasting at his tail and shooting it into the ground. Him trying to divert this thing's course as it's going to fly to the right. And this thing, it does try and attack Deku, turning and trying to lunge at him fast. But his Deku is able to dodge it. Now, Deku is still flying up into the air. Him blasting out his eyes and tail, trying to keep his attention. And there currently is Kendo. Kendo does get a turn. Her going to actually bring her hand up. As she does, going to have a part of her body elongate and pour downwards into the car. Now, Bakugo does a turn. Right now, him staring at the purple sludge, beginning to make its way inside. Before there actually is where Kendo does just sit there right in the passenger seat. Her turn to Bakugo with her arm up. As right now, she has to tell Kendo, or Kai, about what is about to happen. Her turning and actually going to open the door. As Rhino Kai is thrown upwards into the air and then pulled in. Rhino Kendo throwing herself in the back seat as Kai does sit in the passenger seat. The door being slammed closed as Kai doesn't sit there. Her with her heart pounding and adrenaline high. Along with the fact that she was just thrown over a car and pulled in rapidly. Yeah, that was her turning her head. And Kendo, she just doesn't smile, talking about how she's real sorry about that. And right now Kai does look down, bringing her hand up and going to fasten her seatbelt. Bakugo going to speed up as he does going to try and ask about it on comms. Right now Mina and Deku both blasting at this creature and trying to discover its weakness. However, it It's taking the blows and just moving fast. And Deku, he currently is flying back to the military base, trying to understand what to do. The weird doctor guy, that he looked like a, yeah, no, he looked like a doctor, but I don't get it. Where did he come from? He teleported. All that weird stuff he did. He must be in that collapsed house. If they can get something from him there, they can figure this all out and discover what to do. Okay, Zuko, just focus on that and you'll do fine. Focus on that and you can get all this solved. Though clues. Context clues? No, Izuku. He's a teleporter. He's still alive. That building went down, but he's still up. Okay, so it must have something to do with this. Deku turning and trying to ask Mina if she'd be able to hold it off long enough for him to actually be able to do something. And Mina does a turn. Her bring her hand down and trying to make a construct. Her slamming it down as the wall is a smash into the dirt. And this thing is currently contained. It smashed into the wall and trying to move forwards. And Mina does hold her hands there, trying to keep her concentration. And she has a turn. Right now her trying to tell Deku that she doesn't know how long she can hold it. But just do whatever he can, now. And Deku, he'll get a turn, flying off and trying to find that doctor. Right now him going to fly above the house and look down, looking at these skid marks on the ground. Wait a second. He's seen blaster patterns, him flying down, and fire patterns, but nothing like this. Heat blast patterns are a lot more singed. These aren't marks of fire or even energy. This is something different. Deku turning his head and looking at a few things. Deku trying to think about any clues, anything that doesn't. Wait a second. This house was still standing for 60, 70 years after the experiments they probably did here. So, why is it that the wood on the other houses over there doesn't look rotted? It still looks fine. But Deku walking over, grabbing a piece and going to hold on to it. As right now it does go to crumble to dust. And Deku, he does stare at that. Him going to turn looking at the house and then seeing it. There's rotten wood on one side, the spot where it smashed into, the trail right here, and then no, wait. Him running down quickly, bringing his hand up onto the wall and finding that the wood is still sturdy. Deku actually trying to pry off a panel and find that nothing has happened. And that begins to tell Deku quite a bit. Whatever's going on, it's able to decay things. It's able to mess with things. And that doesn't do very good for Deku. Right now him going to turn and fly up into the air. As right now Deku, he does go to fly back over to Mina. And this thing is steadily but slowly moving forwards. Right now her constructs being drug directly past. And Deku, he does come flying down. Right now him going to fly down and try and tell Mina that she needs to let it go. What? Let it smash into the concrete. Test something. Do it. Her gonna release. And this thing does immediately go flying forwards, rapidly smashing through the concrete wall. And Deku, he does begin to stare on. Him going to watch it fly forwards and then move around, before it does come flying back around and spinning. Right now it's going to arc its way around and then smash back into the wall, trying to get these two. And that does tell Deku quite a bit. As right now he does look around and no. Crap, that dust is. Where'd it go? Deku turning his head. And Mina, she does not float there. Him going to turn and try to ask her about what that could have. I'm going to turn human. And Deku, the moment he does begin to fall. Mina turning and bringing her hand up, as she's to catch Deku, as he does get something float there in the air. Rhino Her goes on to smile, talking about how he really needs to get a timer for that thing. Yeah, yeah, thanks. The two gonna fly down. And Mina, she does go look at where the pattern ends. And Deku, here's a turn. Him radioing back in that things are fine back at the base. The thing is gone. And Rabako, here's to slow down the car. Him going to spin the wheel and hit the brakes, putting the car in neutral. As he does, gonna spin it around. Him then gonna put the car back in drive and then turn up the accelerator. Right now, him gonna have the car fly forwards as Kendo is flying backwards in her seat. And Kai just don't sit there staring on at some of the alien tech. Along with the fact that Bakugo, he might as well have a ship engine in this vehicle. And it definitely is a little bit more impressive. And the currently is Kendo, who does go sit there in the back seat. Her in her Lenopen form, looking down at her hands. And her hands do begin to somewhat melt. Her flipping her hands as she does then go from having them face downwards to upwards. And then she has to flip her hands again. Her having them shift and reform downwards. Her bringing them up and staring at them. Sense they're solid again. Fully solid again. Okay. She's okay. Though all of this is getting a bit too crazy. Especially for her. That going through her mind. And currently, we do actually cut to where Bakugo, he does come pulling back up to the military base. Right now him seeing the destroyed wall with 3 different patterns inside of it. And he does go to look on. Going to climb out as Kai and Kendo do so as well. Mina going to turn. And Deku, he does come walking up, asking Bakugo if he wants to punch something. Is that really a question? Yeah, it is. Listen, that section of wall over there. I need to punch it. Why? I have a theory. Listen, I'm gonna turn. Expressing. Take a close look at all the stuff right here. What's wrong with it? What specifically is wrong with this wall? Let's see. Cracked, probably almost a century old concrete, rusty, and looks like it's seen hell, especially after what happened with that damn monster. But Bakugo, don't you notice anything different about the wall? Other than the massive holes? Deku holding up a rusty piece of metal, telling Bakugo, what does he think that this is? That's metal. Rusty? Bakugo, just go punch the wall and tell me what you find. I'm testing a theory. Alright. Him going to turn, walking back over to his car and bending to touch it. Him going to turn metallic as does the walk over, turning his hand into a mace and then going to smash it directly into the wall. Him pulling it back and smashing it again. And Bakugo, he's going to pull his hand backwards. And the wall is, well, shit. It's definitely tough. Him pulling back his fist and smashing it again hard. And Deku, he does go to actually watch Bakugo find the rebar inside. And Bakugo, he has a ring in his left hand. Right now him going to absorb that metal and go to turn. Him looking around and asking if he's covered in rust. No, that's what I thought. Wait, I don't get it. I think I do. That thing has something to do with rapid decay? You're partially right. Both of them going to turn, as Paradox does sit there on top of the wall, going to express. In fact, it does have something to do with time manipulation. Though, whereas he does walk through time, it sort of hunts through it. In fact, it's been after him. Alright, start talking, Poindexter. Deku's staring up at the man. And there are those words. He walks through time. Like a movie he's seen? And that it does not concern him. The man going to express, jumping down, that it's quite nice to meet them all. Though it's quite nice to see Izuku again. He has aged quite into a nice young man, hasn't he? I want to turn to Deku, and Deku stares this guy a bit confused, feeling sort of deja vu. But no, no. Who are you? You said earlier that we met before, but I don't know who you are. Ah, quite right, quite right. I'm stepping forwards and bringing his hand out. His name is. Well, he doesn't really know. But it's hard to explain. Though the best way of saying it is he was once somebody who worked at this base, over 70 years ago. And in fact, he was part of experiments for time travel. Him gonna bring him his watch. As I press a button, and they do begin to move. And Deku, he does get a look around. Everything's shifting and changing. The smell in the air, the wall, all of it. And it just doesn't make sense. But wait, wait a second, the wall, it's not. Him turning his head and looking around. The place is active, busy. What is all this? Now, Paradox, he would go to click the button again, them returning back to time as they do find themselves outside the library. And Paradox would go to express that he does need their help, especially whenever it does come to taking down this monster. He has been having it follow him for some time, though it has been quite annoying. But with their help, he can take it down. In fact, he believes it'd be quite crucial to them. I mean, he did help them out before. What are you talking about? Oh, sorry me, spoilers. Well, anyways, I really should leave you here. The longer I am here, the more that aberration might pop up. Who are you? Oh, Izuku. All the information you need is right there inside. Though, you will want to learn more. Talk to me after this. I definitely know you will. Your experiences here will quite shape you. Huh? Everyone's seeing him vanish. And Deku, he's a lot more alarmed. Right now, Kendo going to try and ask, what the fuck is going on? And Mina does get a turn. Going to express. She's pretty sure he just showed them the past. But how is that possible? Time travel isn't possible. I don't know, Bakugo. That doesn't make sense. Wait a second. Hang on a second. Deku's trying to think. Where has he seen this guy? Where does he know him? How does he know him? It doesn't make sense. They've met before, but they haven't? That's a... That's... No, no, that's... Is he... Paradox? That on Deku's mind. Right now, him gonna turn and walk into the library, trying to tell everyone that they'll try and figure this all out later. For right now, though, they need to understand what to deal with that time monster. If it's able to mess with them this way, it could probably kill all of them by touching them. Though, he's a bit lucky now that he didn't turn into a Humongosaur. And everyone, they do make their way inside the library. Right now, Deku finding a working computer and going to someone to sit down. Him beginning to type away on it, as there actually is Kai, who does it a walk over and bend down, her sticking at the screen. And Deku does turn his head. Him talking about how this doesn't make sense. All the stuff he's finding, it's talking about a time travel experiment. This definitely is weird. Weirder than usual. You should have been around for my 11th birthday. Yeah, you guys have told me bits and pieces about all that, but I thought it was a joke. It's not. It really was not. Though, Deku's scrolling down and seeing the guy in the article. he's one of the doctors. His name is. Where is it? Come on. Shit. I found him. Everyone turned to the screen, and Kai does a stare on. It's the guy. The teleporter? But how is he there? If he's in the article from over 70, almost 80 years ago, wouldn't that make him like 120, 30, 40 maybe? I mean, he's a pretty old looking dude, but clearly not. Aged pretty damn well for a guy who should be dead. And this, it does not concern Deku. This guy's alive. When he shouldn't be, he's able to teleport and move rapidly. But if this is the case, then he's a time traveler. If they did a time traveling experiment and they succeeded, but they thought they failed, what were they trying to do? Go back in time? Instead, they may have gone forwards. Their experiment succeeded just the wrong way. This is. Oh God. That going through Deku's mind. And it does somewhat concern him. Right now, him gonna turn, hearing the sound of that thing back in action. And Deku, he has a stand. Him talking about how they gotta get out of here. Bring his hand down to the Omnitrix. Him gonna press the buttons as. Oh, come on. I'm gonna turn. As another library does have a massive hole get smashed through it on the other side. Everyone turning their heads and seeing the monster. And right now, Kendo does throw her hands up. Her throwing her body outwards and wrapping around everybody, pulling them up into the air. And right now the creature, it does a smash of the area all of them were standing in. Kendo going to actually turn and begin to move. Right now her crawling somewhat like a spider, holding everybody on the ceiling. And this, it does somewhat alarm Kendo. If Deku can't use the Omnitrix, then they're at a severe disadvantage. They're fighting some sort of time beast, time monster. It doesn't make sense. How are they supposed to deal with this, handle this? If this thing is not locked down to a time period, I mean, it's hard to explain in our mind. But if it doesn't exist in time, does it age? And if it doesn't age, can it not die? I mean, there's a lot of questions there. Hers aren't freaking out. And currently there actually is Bakugo, who's going to bring his hand down onto the metal railing and begin to transform. Him going to actually turn and smash his fist through the wall. And Mina does bring her hands up. Her making a pathway as all of them, they do get outside. Now, Deku, he does get a look around. Right now him turning to Bakugo and asking about a plan. And Bakugo does express. Currently it's smashing into the wall and going to go underneath them. About what to do. And this, it does somewhat concern him. Him talking about it. They outran it before. They can do it again. Besides, if they can't, then things are going to get really, really bad. They're just going to wait till the watch recharges, right? I don't know, Bakugo. There's only one thing I can think of that can take this thing down. Hell no. You're not using it now. Everyone looking at Deku. Because he's having the idea of Alien X. I mean, they know it would work, but this would be his second use. Definitely a bad idea. And that is where everyone they're at. Bakugo gonna turn and leap through the air. Right now him smashing into the library and gonna run across. Him trying to bolt for his car as the monster, it does stare at the four. Them moving through the air fast, trying to draw its attention. Now, this thing, it would gonna follow them. Before everyone would gonna watch it disappear. And Deku does stare down at that. Him turning to Mina and bringing his hand up, grabbing onto her shoulder and telling her that they need to go for Bakugo. It's probably after him. And Mina doesn't understand. Right now her throwing this thing to the side as they do immediately start to spin back around. I have one holding on for dear life as there actually is Kendo, who does hold on to Deku. And I have one they do being deflected in the air, as when they do go to land and get back down onto the ground, Bakugo, he is at his car. Right now him turning and looking at all of them, as it's not here. And then they do get to hear the sound. It's going to run forwards and try to attack them. And Deku, he has a turn. Right now Mina bring up her hand and getting ready to blast it, as there actually is Bakugo, who does go step forwards. Him gonna turn into some metal and bring his fist up. He thinks that as long as he only touches it for a few seconds, he should be okay. And Bakugo, his metal arm just smash into the monster. As right now his hand, it does go start rusting. But then his armor does go to crack. And then it just does go to decay away. Before Bakugo, he has to step backwards. Right now him being the age. And everyone, they do go to watch that. The creature moving to the left and away from the group whenever Bakugo hit it. And this does alarm them. Right now Deku holding on to a very old Bakugo. And he does a turn. Right now him yelling that they need to all get out of here, as they do begin to pile into the car. Right now Bakugo being put in the passenger seat, as Deku, he is in the driver's seat. And Bakugo, he has a turn. Him telling Deku, if he scratches the paint, he's paying for it. And Deku, he's gonna put the car in a drive. Him turning to Bakugo and then gonna rev up the engine. Before, he has to put his foot off of the brake and drive it forwards. Right now the car bolting forwards as everyone, they usually try to hold on. And Deku, he does begin to drive through the base. Right now the creature being to chase them, as Deku, he does gonna put the car in neutral and then gonna turn, grinding out the handbrake and gonna spin the wheel. Right now the car having the brakes active as the car is being turned and slide to the side. Deku putting off the brake and putting it in the drive and stepping down. Them narrowly avoiding a house as Deku does a drive around it. And Bakugo, he has a turn looking at Deku. A lot more alarmed by that, because his eyes might be getting, well, messy with his old age. But did he really just make that? Now, Deku does continue to drive, and everyone, they are somewhat freaking out. Bakugo's 70, 80 years old now, and they're still being chased by a monster. And Deku, he has a turn looking in the rearview mirror. It beginning to catch up as Deku, he does go bring his hand down. Him going to grab the piece right next to the gear shifter as he does it to actually amp it up more. And Bakugo, he has a turn looking at Deku. Him bringing his hand over and going to actually move it up high. And the car, it does actually increase rapidly in speed. Bakugo talking about how he can't be afraid of it. Now, Deku, he does mean to drive at a high speed, and this does begin to alarm him. As right now Bakugo, he has a look up, and they're headed straight for... Oh no. Bakugo bringing his hand up over his eyes. And Deku, he has a crashing directly through a house. Right now him smashing through it at over 200 miles an hour. And the car just flying through the air, smashing through the other side. It gonna land and almost bottom out. As Deku, he has just sit there, feeling the car bouncing and shaking, as he thought that that was a very bad idea. But the car, it does begin to continue to drive. It's with a few scratches and scrapes. And Deku's a turn. Him yelling at Bakugo for what he just did. As right now Deku, he's gonna bring his hand down and gonna lower that thing down. Him gonna actually spin the vehicle as he does a spin the wheel and go to try and find another way out. Now, the monster is still chasing them, and they haven't found anything. But it is very concerning. And right now, Deku, he does go start driving the vehicle out of the base. Right now, him finding one of the roads as Deku just smash directly through one of the toll areas. Right now, that piece going to be sent flying off as Deku drove through it. And Bakugo, he has a turn looking directly at Deku. Going to narrow his eyes as Deku does a turn to Bakugo. Him going to turn his head as they look back at the road. And everyone, they do actually somewhat talk about it in the car. Not sure what to do. Bakugo's probably at the end of the line. I mean, he's super, super old. The way he's breathing, the way he's acting, it just doesn't look good. It doesn't seem good. And right now, everyone, they do to pull over. As Deku, he got about 10 miles away before deciding to do so. And they all just won't sit there in the car. Kendo, she just won't sit there. Her trying to maintain a physical form because her nerves are acting up. And she is beginning to lose a bit of control. Now, Mina just won't sit there trying to think about a few things. And there actually is Kai. Kai has a lot going through her mind. I mean, they're dealing with a fucking time traveling monster that can leap through time, that can potentially move through time. And this, it doesn't seem good. Now, currently someone has come walking over, bending down and knocking on the glass of the driver's side door. And Deku does turn his head, seeing the doctor guy. Him would actually turn and roll down the window, as the man has to express. He'd like to have a chat with him if he'd be up to it. Okay, you have explaining to do. You're a time traveler. Your monster thing is trying to get us. What is going on? Well, now, that would be a lot to explain. If I can do so properly, that would be nice. But for right now, how about I fix your friend? Everyone a bit concerned. And Paradox does it disappear. Deku turning his head as the passenger side door does go to open. Bakugo being helped out by Paradox. Him going to express about how they're going to take a short little walk. And Deku, he has to watch that. Paradox gonna walk over Bakugo as they do to disappear. And then Deku's to turn his head. As Bakugo, he does a stand there. Him going to actually bring up his arm and smash Deku in the face as he has to talk about it. Deku, so I'm gonna back up. Ow! What was that for? That was for crashing. Okay, that was all you. No, it wasn't. I told you not to scratch the paint. Okay, that was your fault. And boys, if you would please. Both of them gonna turn. As Deku does bring his hand up, expressing. Okay, so they're dealing with a time traveler and some sort of monster from some time ago, something that they don't understand. If you would, I could explain it. What? Okay, sorry, having two different conversations. Alright. I'm not a time traveler, I'm a time walker. I myself have been looking through time for hundreds of thousands of years. Fact of the matter is, Izuku, I am able to see and perceive everything. The past, present, and future. And all it does have to do is back at that base where it all started. But that's impossible. You can't. You are a paradox. You're a paradox. Right now, everyone turning to Deku. Not sure what to really say. And Deku, he's gonna watch the man confirm it. That would be correct. He is Professor Paradox. And fact of the matter is, right now, a lot has been happening. It's very serious, Izuku, and he needs his help to solve the crisis at hand. Now, Deku does sit there, alarmed because a time traveler needs his help. Yeah, okay, trying to stop an alien invasion was definitely weird, but time travel. Okay, so that exists. That's crazy, and this guy's a that the whole thing is insane. Now, Paradox would go to express. He's aware that right now Izuku is under a lot of stress, and the fact of the matter is he is concerned about the future. However, they will burn that bridge when they get there, and he will answer some questions after everything is sorted out. However, let him begin an explanation about how everything started. right now him pulling out his watch, and everyone, they just don't stand there before they do vanish. As right now Bakugo, he's a lot more alarmed, and Paradox, he does get a start. It all started many years ago. During the project, him and his allies, they were all trying to understand quite a bit. But after being thrown through the event horizon and pulled through time, he went mad after thousands of years. But then he became sane. Very sane. He began to learn. He began to understand that. He began to understand all of time, how to manipulate it, how to walk through it, and how to experience it. Somehow he exists across multiple dimensions and multiple planes all at the same time. Fact of the matter is, he is also immortal. He stopped aging at one point, and this has caused many issues, many problems. He is no longer tied to time, the same way normal people are. In fact, he is now the outside observer, something that definitely should not exist, but does. And Deku, he's a lot more alarmed. Run out him witnessing the experiment that caused Paradox to become the man he is. As right now Deku does see it, the man be sent flying through the portal, and his colleague going to fly through it as well. And this does alarm Deku. Him seeing Paradox fly through the event horizon, as the other man, he doesn't make it that far. He doesn't go to the horizon like Paradox did. And that doesn't alarm him. Deku gonna turn and ask Paradox if what they're seeing is real. If they're actually in the same time whenever he was thrown through the portal. And the man would express, not exactly. Right now they are observing it like a TV screen. It's like that, but in a lot higher definition. Fact of the matter is, he is looking just through the veil. Think of it this way. Imagine you're outside, looking through a window and you see a television. It's a lot like that. You're not in the room, but you can still see what's happening, but you can't hear the sound of the television. And Deku does stare at that. Now, right now, there actually is Mina. Mina just don't stare on. Her trying to understand a lot about this, as everybody else, they're still a lot more confused. And Bakugo, he's trying to figure a few things out. Meanwhile, Kai and Kendo, these two are trying not to panic. Because this is way beyond what they've experienced. Kai? Yeah, she deals with alien crazy shit all the time. But this is time travel. Kendo? Yeah, she's half alien. Her parents, they are only married because of a peace treaty between the humans and the plumbers, or the humans and the Lenopans, because of a war caused by a plumber-Lenopan war. And now she's somewhere back in time. What the fuck is going on? That going through her mind. And currently Deku, he does have a few ideas about how to gather information and figure this all out. Understand what that monster could potentially be. And then it does click into Deku's mind. The monster, hang on, if it's chasing him, it must have a reason to come after him. Okay, so if this is just some sort of creature scraping through and passing through time the way Paradox is, why would it do that? And Deku, he would try to ask if Paradox has ever encountered any other creatures like this, ones that move through the fabric of time the way he does. And the man would say the word no. And Deku, that tells him quite a bit already. Paradox and another man were sent through the event horizon, but Paradox is the one who returned. This other person didn't. If Paradox learned and mastered the ability of full time manipulation across space, then it means quite a lot. It means that this thing, doing the same thing Paradox can do, must be something else like him, thrown through time. However, where he went through the event horizon, this thing went near the event horizon. I mean, it's like the theory of a black hole, right? Oh god, that might be a very bad way of looking at it, but whatever it is, whatever is happening, Paradox went through to the other side. If the guy went through but didn't go through the event horizon, he's being sucked into it and pulled. So it's happening slowly. He could have been unraveled and not put back together right, creating the monster. It knows how to move through time, but Paradox, I have an idea. The man gonna turn to Deku, as he does to Express, about what they need to do. And the man, he would gonna nod his head, as he does go to Express. Well then, they should be getting on their way. Run up Paradox, going to move them through time, as he does set them down outside. And Deku and everyone, they do look around, because things don't seem frozen. Things don't seem weird anymore. They can smell the air properly. They can hear things properly. And they can see everything. And Deku, he has a turn. Right now him trying to talk about what's going on. As Bakugo, he sees Deku take off towards the door, expressing, "They gotta hurry!" Now, currently Deku, he has a run directly into the door. Everyone focused on the test currently at hand. And Paradox, he does stand there, him talking about a few things with his colleague, as there actually is with the experiment does begin to unravel. Now, the machine does begin to go unstable, and Paradox, he does begin to get sucked into the machine, as there is Deku, who currently has a turn, him looking at the door, as he does gotta bring up the Omnitrix, him gonna open it up and then transform. Now him turning into a Lenopen. Now, Deku, he doesn't move fast. Right now him going to fly directly through the keyhole in the door and through the other side. As there is where Paradox, he's pulled through the air and sucked in. The other man hanging on for dear life, as Deku does see it. The portal begin to rip things into it, pull them into it, and just the sheer force Deku feels. And it's very alarming. Deku, he's trying to keep himself solid, trying to keep himself together. And currently he's gonna do one thing. He throws out his hand as the people in the room do see a limb elongate. Right now Deku grabbing onto the man as he actually is ripped off of the ground. Him flying through the air as Deku, he does hold on to him. And the man's a lot more alarmed. As Deku, he does actually start to grow a bit more in size. And he does begin to express. Currently going to pull him in. Trust him. This isn't going to happen. Not this time. And the man stares at Deku confused. As right now, there actually is outside. The creature, it showed up. And Paradox, he was not happy about that. But this time the creature, it began to unravel. Paradox saw it moving around, though it began to just fade, blinking in and out of existence. And this was quite the wonder he's seeing, witnessing. And currently the portal, it is shut down. The man falling down to the ground as Deku hears a turn. Him quickly going to leave. Because if they're interfering with time, being here isn't good. Now, Izuku, he disappears as fast as he appeared. And everyone, they're a lot more alarmed because of what they may have seen. And Izuku quickly makes his way out of that room. The military officials running inside and trying to find out if the doctor is alright. They're all a lot more concerned about what that thing was. The thing that appeared with the malfunction. And none of them know a way to explain it properly. It could be some sort of interdimensional creature. And Deku, he does allow them to think that. Because that's what... No, huh? Wait, Never mind. His mind must have been playing a trick on him for a second. That in Deku's head. And currently Izuku, he does head back outside. As Paradox, he does go to do one thing. He does go to walk over and see the old friend of his. Him gonna bend down as the man. He does go to blink out of existence. And Paradox, he does just won't smile. Because his old friend has been properly put back into the timeline. What luck for him. Now, Paradox, he will gather everybody together, and they all do return back to their own time. And Izuku, he does currently stand there. I'm gonna look around. That was pretty crazy. Huh. Well now, that appears to have solved that. Deku turning his head, and looking directly at Paradox. What's going on? Why is everything... I believe you had questions for me. Okay. I do have questions. Yes, but what about everybody else? They'll be alright. Right now, I have paused time. For everybody. Except for us. In the area, they'll be fine. However, Zuku, your questions. Ask away. How? How do I stop it? You can't. Okay. You know what I mean. Not the invasion, not fate. How do I stop fate? Every warning has come to pass. I've met you, my grandfather died, I'm getting more serious, and the world's going to be invaded. The plumbers have been compromised, Paradox. Every warning has almost passed. My ultimate enemy. What is my ultimate enemy, Paradox? I'm afraid I cannot answer that. I used Alien X to rewrite time, to stop my friends from dying, to stop the people I care about from dying. So why? Why is it everything points towards destruction? Izuku, I cannot answer that. Answer me one question then. Have I changed the timeline? Have I stopped myself from becoming him? Izuku, at one point you and him were the same person. He was your definitive future. However, thanks to Miss Ashido changing the timeline, you are a different version of you. He is an alternative future. Fact of the matter is, Izuku, you won't become him. You will become you. A version of you you may either come to love or come to hate. But that is all a matter of choice that you have to make. Also, not all of your warnings have come to pass. What are you talking about? Tell me what your... I'm going to resume. And Deku does stand there. Him, annoyed. Not all of them have come to pass? But what does that mean? What does that mean? Now, Izuku, he stands there annoyed. And everybody, they are looking around. They're back in the proper time. Paradox is gone and things are okay. And right now everybody, they do begin to leave. As Deku, he has a watch Bakugo walk towards the car. As Kai is walking towards her ship, and she does express about a few things talking to Mina. But Deku, he does still stand there. And there currently is Kendo, who does begin to express. They're gonna need to talk about a few things, since this is very crazy. Now, with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed, and have an amazing day. I'll catch you guys in the next part.